Today I'm going to show you how to make your crown holder. So I have the pattern printed out and I have my front and back piece of fabric, and I'm just laying out my pattern on top of my fabric to figure out how to make the most use of my fabric. So you see I turn my pattern around because the fold line is on the left, and I simply just fold my fabric in half and then I cut using my rotary cutter. And you can rotate the piece on the mat if you need to. Just make sure you're using good downward pressure and keeping your workspace clean. You're also going to cut away from your body. This leftover piece I know I could not use, so I just fold it up because I know it can be used again. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my piece. That way I can keep everything organized. So I just took a sticky note and a pen, wrote on it what it was, and then stuck a pin in it. Now I'm going to cut my inner facing. Doing the same as I did with my pattern pieces, lining up my pattern, folding it, making sure the pattern's folded on the appropriate edge, and then just cutting the piece. And then we'll just fold up the rest of my inner facing, maybe put it back in the cabinet for someone else to use at a later time. Making sure that my pieces are labeled front, back, and pocket. For this example, I am using the same pattern for the front and the back, but you might get to more complex patterns where you have different pieces. So it's a good rule of thumb to always label everything. When you get to your pajama pants, your front and your back will be similar but different. So you want to make sure that you keep those organized. Now I'm going to take my pocket piece and I'm going to lay it out on my cutting mat, and then I'm going to grab a ruler. So what I'm measuring is 1.5 inches in, using my cutting mat as a guide. And then from there I'm doing an inch mark all the way down my pocket. So I'm not using the ruler on top of my fabric as my guide, I'm using it as my straight edge. So any straight edge would work for this. I'm using the markings on my mat to help guide me. So I shifted my fabric so that all of my measurements lined up on the dot of the inch, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are measuring in 1.5 inches though. So if you start in at 1.5 inches, your measurements from there would be 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. So please do not get confused during this step. After this step, you need to stop and get your project checked by me, or if there's another helper in the classroom, so that you don't sew your pockets wrong. I'm also using a pin that is erasable, so a fabric pin. I'm not using a regular classroom pin for this. So I'm double checking what I did was correct. If it was wrong, I need to adjust. I need to make sure it's correct before I move on. Your 1.5 inches on each side will allow your seam allowance whenever you put this whole crown holder together. Next, you're going to look at the front and the back of your fabric. My pieces, the way they are printed, are about the same front and back. Some fabrics you have a definite right side and wrong side. So after I folded my pocket in half and put my inner facing in between, marked my pocket, now I'm setting my pocket on the front of the crown holder. And then I'm pinning about every other just to hold the fabric still. Making sure that it lines up and it stays square. So if you have to adjust your fabric as you go, or you might need to re-iron to make sure it holds its shape. Notice the top of the pocket is where it's folded. All of my bottom edges, open edges, are towards the bottom. They will eventually get sewed up. If you pin this wrong, you will have to seam rip. So here I'm adjusting because I didn't like how the bottom edge came out. So I'm pulling out a couple pins, readjusting, kind of pulling up the pocket so that it stays square, and then pinning it back in place. This can take time. Take as much time as you need to get this correct. A lot of your sewing, if you don't plan correctly and prepare, it will show in the end result. Once you have your pocket pinned, you will then go to the sewing machine. Using your PowerPoint, Google Slides, make sure you have your sewing machine set to the correct settings. You will then start to sew from the open edge, from the bottom edge to the top, adding a reverse into the top, a couple stitches, because this is where you will get a lot of movement through your fabric. Taking the pins out as I go, making sure that I don't sew through them. And I also took my label off just to kind of get that pin out of the way. So I'm setting my presser foot down, sewing exactly on that line, as straight as I can get, getting to the end and doing a reverse. If my needle is in my fabric, simply turn towards me so that the needle lifts up, and then I'm able to cut my strings and start again. You can see here I have to rethread a couple times, totally normal. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong, it's just the tension and how you started sewing. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut all of your strings, front and back. So you start with 2 strings, and then when you end, you have 2 strings. So essentially you have 4 strings per line, and you need to just trim those. I used my sewing scissors for this. If you had small clippers, you could use that as well. I kind of slide all of my clippings down to the end, so it makes it easier for me to get those in the trash can and that they don't fall on the floor. Once you get this done, you will then get your piece of elastic, 4-inch piece of elastic. You will turn it over on itself, and you'll place it at where the pocket meets the front of the fabric, as you can see. I pinned it just so I could visualize it and hold it. You'll have to take that pin out when you sew it. You want to sew along the edge as close as you can. So once I get it under the sewing machine, I take that clip out because I can't get my presser foot down. This is thicker, so you might have to help it guide in there a little bit. I stop just when I get past it. I make sure my needle's down, lift my presser foot up, spin it around, presser foot back down, and sew back. Sew back and forth about 4 times. This just makes a stronger stitch. You could zigzag here if you wanted to. I feel like a straight stitch 4 or 5 times is adequate. Now that you have your top piece with your pocket, you're going to pin right sides together. So your wrong sides should be facing out. Simply just place them on top of each other, and then you're going to pin all the way around. How many pins is up to you, but your fabric needs to stay together. You will sew this whole square, but you will leave a 3-inch opening. I'm going to leave my 3-inch opening on a short edge. I would not recommend doing it on a corner. So as you can see here, I'm just pinning around, lining up my edges as I go. If your edges aren't lined up, when you go to sew with your 1/4 inch, when you go to sew with your 1/4 inch seam allowance, if your edges aren't lined up, you could potentially not grab both pieces of fabric. So here I'm adding clips as a visual reminder to leave that open. Sometimes when you get in the mindset of sewing, you just keep going. So I'm pinning, and then I add my 2 little orange clips to say, hey, let's stop here. So I'm just double checking both sides that it's flat as I go, and I pin all the way around. So I'm starting at the clip, I get to the edge, press your foot up, needle down, rotate, and then start again. You can sew this whole piece in one setting. You can sew one side, bring it up, reverse, cut your strings, or you can sew in one continual loop. It is totally up to you. I find it easier and I don't have to cut as many threads if I sew at once. When I get close to the edge, I slow down, and sometimes I use the side wheel to advance, just to get it in the right spot. When I'm sewing, I'm making sure just to keep my fabric lined up, and I'm not pulling any of my fabric through. I'm just letting it feed through on its own. Press your foot up, rotate, and then back down. I'm pulling the pins out as I go. You can stop and start as many times as you need to. It does not have to be one continual sewing. So if you don't sew as fast, that is fine. This is about the average speed I sew at. Needle down, press your foot up, turn the corner, and I'm back to where I started. Just kind of visualize or hold my finger to where I want to stop. Reverse, and then cut my strings. So I have the gap, and then I've sewed my seam all the way around. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to trim the corners. I'm not cutting any strings, any thread. I'm just cutting diagonally at each of the corners. This creates less fabric, so when you turn your corners inside out, you have more of a corner and not just a rounded edge. Make sure to throw those scraps away and keep your area clean. Then you're going to take the piece and you're just going to turn it inside out. It's just a little bit of work to find your edges and your corners. This is where you would use a corner pusher, end of a paintbrush, potentially the end of your scissors, mechanical pencil, something with a little bit of an edge, but not too sharp of an edge where it's going to push through. I would not use a seam ripper for this. Okay. But you're just going to kind of push your corners up. I push them with my thumb first. And then I think I went back with my fabric marker end and pushed them out the rest of the way. Now that I have it turned right side out, I'm just going to add a top stitch. So I'm going to make sure where I turned it inside out is rolled under. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing that I did on the back side around this piece to finish it. So I'm going slow, making sure it stays at the edge, making sure my piece is flat and there's no wrinkles. And then also trying to get as close to the edge as possible. This is more for just like a finishing stitch to really make the piece come together. You can also know you're sewing through 4 pieces of fabric right here, so it's going to feel a little thicker. When you get around to your elastic, it's also going to be thicker. Same with your pockets. You're sewing through 6 pieces of fabric. Go slow, help it, but never forcefully push or pull your pocket through. Make sure your pocket stays underneath your presser foot and doesn't get caught up. Just go around the edges. To me, this one looks the best if you keep it one complete stitch all the way around instead of starting and stopping at the corners. Once you're done with this, you will fill it with crowns, and then you'll come talk to me and I will show you how to finish it with your button. You will hand sew on a button of your choice at the correct spot so that your elastic reaches, stretches over the buttons and the crowns appropriately. Once you get your button sewn on, you will then take your crowns out and we'll wash it, and then you'll throw it in the red bucket for me to grade. After this, you can look on Google Classroom, look on the end of your slides. You can make another one of these if you would like, or you can check out her website and find another tutorial or pattern that you'd like to try. There's a really neat oven mitt I think would be really neat. Or you can do another supplemental project until we are ready to move on. Congratulations, you're done with your crown holder.